Hey guys, good afternoon. It's me, Cali. How's everybody doing this week? I miss you guys. It's been 6 whole days since I've made a video, but it feels like a lifetime, you know? I have been so busy this week, feeling really great. The sun is shining. It's no longer snowing. My last video with you guys, it was snowing. That's not happening anymore. I actually saw a hummingbird yesterday, which I couldn't believe it. I was cleaning off my deck. I thought it was still a little too cold for them, but came flying right up by my face. And I think he was going for all the balls I have hanging in my doorway. But it surprised me, and I thought, well, I better get the feeder full. So I did. And everybody's happy outside. Everybody's happy inside. I hope you guys are doing great. I have a lot of things to share with you today, so I suggest getting your beverage of choice or snacks and getting cozy, and I will tell you what I've been doing this week. When I left you last, I was showing you some work in my journal, and I will give you my journal work that I've worked on this week. I have completed my April journal. I have to admit I did cheat a little because I glued some of the pages towards the end. I added more pages on. They're a little thicker than in the beginning because God knows I have to complete things, but I have yet to put a cover on it, and I will work on that sometime this month along with other things. But so I'll happily share that with you. I told you that I had gone to lunch with my friend Ellen, and she has been a huge blessing in my life. It's funny how paths connect with people and things come around. I met her husband randomly at an open mic night a few years ago. I was living in a different county, and I had come with friends of mine and sang at an open mic night and met her husband, who was hosting the open mic night. I also met a woman, my friend Sylvia, that night, who I was instantly drawn to and subsequently wound up meeting, and now she's a dear friend of mine. But the universe is amazing. But anyway, long story short, after that open mic night, I didn't even know these people again. And now, since being back together with Tom, Tom is best friends with our local musician extraordinaire and music owner, Steve Schwartz. And Steve is dear friends with Antoine, who is Ellen's husband, and yada, yada, yada. I got to meet them, and she instantly, I felt a connection with, and she shared that she felt the same way. She's a soul sister of mine, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life. But so I had a great time on Friday, spending the afternoon with Ellen, and Antoine came in later, and we hung out. And before I left, she brought me into the back room and asked me if I would be interested in any toys that she was getting rid of that she had for her grandson. And hello, basically my grandson Carter is set, at least for this year, bat caves and Batman action figurines and Batmobiles and tons of Matchbox cars and trucks and on and on and on. Literally 4 huge hefty garbage bags full of a robot that really works, you know, all this stuff in pristine condition, gently used, you know. Carter and Cammie, my granddaughter, were both thrilled to see that generosity, and I'm just blown away. Again, I have such a grateful heart every day. I realize the blessings that I have and the people that are in my life right now, and I'm so thankful. So in addition to the abundance that she bestowed on my grandkids, she also kind of offhandedly was like, she gave me a beautiful crystal rainbow for my window, which fits in perfectly. Hello. And she's like, oh, can you use these? And she pulled out these boxes of amazing beads. Hello, can I use these? I mean, not junk at all. Amazing, beautiful, worth tons of money. She said she's not using them anymore. Could I use them? Oh my God, I could almost cry, you know? So that just blew me away. And so, of course, I came home and I had to, you know, take everything out and add it to my collection and just, you know, beam and glow and feel the love for sure. And in doing that, that also spurred me on. I wound up with an extra organizing container, and I thought, boy, I could use this in my junk drawer for like screws and thumbtacks and things like that. So, Virgo mind that I have, you know, God forbid, it's not bad. I mean, I still do have junk drawers. I'm not that OCD and organized, but who says you can't have an organized junk drawer, right? Wow. So I went and I organized my junk drawer, and in doing so, you know, throughout the year, I literally throw things in there, you know, all the time. I can't even tell you. I should give you a tour one time of, you know, a before shot of my junk drawer, but everything from soup to nuts, literally from little kids' toys to the most random things, clock parts and gadgets and gears and yada, yada, yada. So in organizing all that, I made a pile of stuff, and I thought, you know what? It's been a while since I made a collage. Let me just make a collage. And so I did, and I fell in love with this. It came out so good. And at one point, I really had my doubts. I got a little scared. You know how you get to that moment where you're like, oh my God, I messed it up, I messed it up. Well, I pushed through, and let me tell you something, you guys. Let me just show you this wonderfulness. Come on, focus. I used one of the fairies that I got from my pocket letter from Deb Buchanan. It says believe across the top, and those little where it says believe, those are plastic bread tabs. When I went to lunch with my mother and my sister last week, my mother threw a bunch of bread tabs in a bag, and she was like, I know you'll think it's something to do with these. Well, I did, Mom. This big clock timepiece, the numbers, the Roman numeral piece back here, I pulled out of a clock that I had gotten at the auction. I wish there was no glare on the fairy. And as well as, these are bicycle gears. They were literally rusty bicycle gears. There's bottle caps here, random clock parts. This is a fuse, like a, you know, fuse for a fuse box kind of fuse. What else do I have here? More little random literal clock parts from deconstructed clocks that I've gotten at the auction. This was a big screw, is a big screw. Pointy, pointy. What else? I made designs over drywall tape with hot glue. This dream ticket also came from Deb Buchanan. And I have to tell you that the fairy and the dream ticket really pull the piece together for me. Obviously these are pop tops from a can. Here's an S hook and a safety pin. And what else do we got going on? Some more pop tops. So I glued everything down with hot glue, and you know, I put cheese. It was a canvas. Let's start there. Once upon a time, there was a canvas, and I put cheesecloth and drywall tape down on it in random places, and then I just started with hot glue and E6000 glue, gluing all these pieces down, except for the fairy and the dream ticket, obviously. And then when that dried, I painted it all with a mixture of brown paints and let that dry. And then I had made a spray black acrylic ink paint spray, and I sprayed it all over, and then I kind of mopped it up with a baby wipe, and then I took my rub and buff and I rubbed and I buffed, and then I decided to frame it. Well, I kind of tried to stand it up, and anyway, I needed to frame it, and this frame was perfect. It was in my bathroom, and it was the one that had the picture of the Aerosmith album cover, Toys in the Attic, in it, which I never really liked the way I had framed it anyway. So I took that out, and I'll find another, but it's already hanging up, but I don't have it framed. But and then I just mounted this on some of my graphic 45 spell paper that I had. They're just little cogs. And then I glued that to there, and I left it open. Obviously, I took the glass off of it, and I'm in love with it. It's hanging on the wall. It has a place already over here above my Tree of Life wire thing, and I'm such a collage fan. I really, really gravitate, whether it's magazine collage or I have to say this is my third time that I've done one of these collage pieces randomly. And I just adore it. I love taking crap and turning it into something really cool. So that's that. And that was that this week. I actually made a list, you guys, because I have so much stuff, and I have my trusty coffee here. But anyway, did I mention this is going to be a long video? And I will do another video this weekend, because I do plan on going to the auction. I think I'm going to the auction, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. So anyway, so that was Ellen, and that was the inspiration for Ellen. And oh my gosh, and I have another inspiration from Ellen, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Maybe I'll talk about that now. Last year, the first time Ellen came over to my house, she brought a table that she and Antoine had gotten at a garage sale, and she made an offhand comment, you know, see what you can do with this kind of thing. And I had it in my bedroom. It was olive green, and it had a random, like, I think flower stencil on the side of it or something. It was just kind of there, and I knew that someday it would speak to me. So probably because she's been around and hanging out and whatever, and I was just really riding a project wave. Oh, and let me just, if this video goes on and on, it might be a part 2. I don't know when my phone's going to cut off. So like I said, I have a lot to show you guys. So if it does, I'll just make a part 2. But anyway, so for whatever reason, I decided to pull that table out. And man, am I ever glad you did. I did. You did. Are you glad you did? I hope so. For those of you who follow me on Facebook, you've seen the progress of this table. I hope you guys, I hope I'm sitting back enough to show you. Like I said, wow, can I lean back here? Here's the top. I did a different color panel here. I just used acrylic paint. And actually, it's the 4 directions: earth, air, fire, water. Return, return. And I did the legs, each a different pattern. And one thing that I did learn here, because I would like to do this again, I learned a couple things. Number one, it took a lot more time than I thought it would. It took me a good 2 days nonstop, like from the time I got up in the morning. One full day of like 15 hours I worked on this. Number two, I need better small detailing brushes. Maybe even like nail art size brushes. So I'm going to do a little research and see what I can come up with there, because the fine detail was really hard to do for me. With the brushes that I had, and I'm not complaining. It's just, it is what it is. So I love it in its imperfectness. I really, really love it. The more I'm liking it, and it's super bright, obviously, and you guys see that I'm mostly earth tone. This, obviously, and if you can't tell, is a stencil, and I debated on leaving it plain. Actually, I liked it plain. As well as these panels, I wanted to, initially I was going to do patterns on each one of these panels, and I'm glad I decided not to, because it's obviously got enough going on. And again, this is all acrylic paint, and I did a different pattern on each leg. The top is a stencil. I also debated, I was going to do around the edge here, alternating black and white, black and white, black and white, which, you know, it's hard for me to know when to stop. So I think I'm going to stop right now with this. This is the first piece. And I did a clear coat. Tom and Nick went out, thanked them both, and got me some spray acrylic, you know, paint. So, but my oldest daughter said it looked like, you know, it looks like it belongs in the circus, and I could totally see this in a kid's room. Absolutely. But I have it in the bedroom, and it looks so great because I have so many earth tones and everything that this pop of color just pulls all the other colors that I do have in there. So probably maybe like once a year I'll do an updated cottage tour and I'll show you guys. But love this. So thank you, Ellen and Antoine, for that. And I love it. Every time I look at it, it's going to be one of these things. It's a treasure, and I hope that for generations to come it stays a treasure. So I'm really excited. So you know that in addition to this table, I had also, it's like you finish one thing. I'm so excited. I have not stopped arting. It's been over a year now that I've been riding this art wave, but I finished one thing and I want to do the next thing without a rest in between, you know. So I finished this, and when I had this table, I also had those two pieces I showed you a few videos back that my stepson, my heart son, Nick, had got me, and one of them is in my closet, but I grabbed the other one to show you because I'm going to do the same thing to this that I did to the table from Ellen and Antoine. This was a piece that he and his mom had in their bathroom, and there's a matching white cabinet as well, which I might do the same thing. I probably will do the same thing too. So I'll think of an alternative view. I kind of wish this bar was that you could slide it out because I could put like paper towels or something, but maybe I can use it to hold more necklaces or more danglies, or, you know, I'll think of something. So stay tuned for this. I don't know if I'll be working on it this week, but I'm going to leave it out. So chances are, being that I really, as much as work that was, yes, I can speak coherently, I'm looking forward to doing another one. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so Ellen, painting, good stuff. I got a list here. Saturday, I think I told you that I was going to go to the opera, and I did. And it's hilarious because I shared with you guys in my cottage tour that in my lifetime, I have seen hundreds and hundreds of concerts. And 90% of those concerts have been rock and roll, classic rock and roll, that, you know, starting from the time I was 14, although I do have to say when I was 10 years old, and I don't tell this to too many people, so shh, I did go see the Captain and Tennille. Shh, secret Captain and Tennille fan. I don't tell that to a lot of people, but you know, as a young teenager, and then for years, up until like last year, really, I don't think I saw any music last year. Is that true? Well, I saw local music, but anyway, you know, so I've seen hundreds and hundreds of concerts and tons of live music, and I love it. I adore it, and I'm getting old for the outdoor concert scene anymore. There's something to be said for staying home, being on your couch, relaxing, and not having to deal with crowds and all that old people stuff. But anyway, rock and roll, woo! My point is, opera is a whole new world to me. And in knowing Sylvia, who I mentioned before that I met at an open mic, and she comes out in support of her wonderful son, Steve. Shout out to Steve, Steve's music. And she's 82 years old, and she sings, and she is busy every day of the week, and she runs circles around me, and she's my hero, and I adore her. We play Scrabble, we have lunch, we usually have lunch a couple times a month. She's all about the music, and I just adore her. So Sylvia has turned me on to the opera, and I adore the theater. I love Broadway, and I shared with you, I've seen Wicked and Tommy and Phantom of the Opera, and I have a list of shows that could be a whole nother video. But anyway, I've never seen an opera until Sill, and we started going. They do a live simulcast from the Metropolitan Opera here in our local college, and it's $20, and it's literally like 10 miles down the road, and comfy seating, no hassle with parking. Like for me to drive into Manhattan, which I'm in upstate New York, Manhattan's about 80 miles away, you know, so I'd have to drive to Manhattan, deal with the parking, deal with the car, deal with the crowds, you know, however much tickets are, yada, yada, yada. I could spend 20 bucks, go down the road and see the same thing because it's this huge screen. You're in a theater. You literally, it's a live simulcast, so it's just like you're there. And I've seen the opera. And this was I saw Carmen, and I saw, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot already. It'll come to me. Anyway, this weekend I saw Pagliacci. I'm probably murdering that. And Cavalleria Rusticana. I don't know. They were great. So that was wonderful. Oh, The Barber of Seville. That was the other one. Yeah. So I'm loving it. And I get to spend quality time with Sil. And she's opening my mind to this amazing music. And they run subtitles underneath the singing on the screen, so you can read what's going on. So I never really knew. I thought it was just some, you know, it's not over till the fat lady sings. I don't know what I thought. I thought it was just people standing up and singing or something. I didn't realize it was, you know, theater acted out with this amazing music. And it's very cool too, because there's a woman named Yoon who's got a YouTube channel called The Very Berry Life, I think, who is a violinist in the orchestra. And when I see the opera, they show the orchestra pit, and I could see Yoon. So shout out to Yoon from that too. So anyway, I love Sil, and I'm, again, just the reason I bring it up is you know, not to tell you how fabulous my life is, although my life is fabulous and I'm blessed. It's just, I'm so grateful, and it seems like the more I count my blessings, the more blessings I'm receiving. So I'm amazed, and I look forward to more. So there won't be any operas for the summer. For some reason, there's no summer season this year, but when they come back up again, they'll resume. But I think we're going to catch some live theater at, there's a local playhouse, the Forestburg Playhouse, and I heard they're playing Young Frankenstein, so one of my favorite movies. Definitely, I would love to see that live. So we might check that out, and I'll keep you guys posted for sure. So, excuse me, my mouth is dry. Okay, so in between the opera and my luncheons and playing with paint, I did pull out the clay, and oh my God, can someone please tell me? I believe I have a curse, the curse of the pasta machine. I shared with you that I did get a brand new pasta machine, and maybe some of you seasoned polymer clay artists can advise me here. I had a pasta machine for like 10 years or over that, and it finally gave up the ghost. When I would turn it, it would just spin. The gears were stripped. Although I did think that I was careful when I used it, it was time for a new one. So I just got a brand new one. When I share with you my polymer clay haul, I got a new pasta machine at the same time, okay? I used it like 4 or 5 times, and it's now doing the same thing. The gears are like locking up. I'll go to turn it, and it's like locking. And I don't want to force it because I don't want to strip the gears again. So I'll try to adjust the settings, and it kind of wants to go, and it's not. And I'm like, please work, pasta machine. And it seems like it wants to. And so rather than get upset with it, because perhaps it's something I'm doing, they don't come with a lot of instructions. It's not, you know, it's kind of like self-explanatory here. But can you guys advise me? I see a little screw on the outside of it, and I'm really tempted to like take it apart and mess with it. And I don't want to do that. I don't think that's a wise idea. So Lynn or Sarah or anybody, Kelly, any of you guys who work with clay, is it just me or is there something going on? Anyway, I was tempted to just say, forget it. I'm not supposed to be working with clay this week. I'm not going to deal with it. And I thought, no, you know what? I really want to. And I had that black clay, and I said, what do people do before you had a pasta machine? Cali? What do people do? They used a roller, and I have a roller, so I got to rolling. And one of the things that I wanted to check out, and I told you I always love Lynn, my friend Lynn from Lynn's Crafts. Shout out to our Linny. I always watch her channel, and I watch gazillion YouTube videos all day long. My computer's on, and even if I'm not sitting in front of it watching it, I'm listening to it. So thank you guys who keep me company throughout the day. But one of the techniques that I've seen that I wanted to try that was very intriguing to me is a technique called Makume Gane, which makes me want to say, for some reason, Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata, Makuma Gane, right? Is it just me? It's just me. I wanted to try this technique. It looked amazing, and I thought I could do that. Hello, it's just layers of clay, and you roll it out, and cut it out and shave it off. Oh, you put stuff in it. You know, it's really cool. If you haven't checked out any Makume Gane videos, check them out. But I thought I could do that for sure. So I got started with it. Well, I don't know what happened with me. Or maybe I'm just being self-critical again, but I rolled it out. I made my layers. My first sandwich I made was like 8 layers, you know. And then I cut it, and then I made 16. And then, I made 32, 64, 128. I think I made too many layers, like cutting it and reducing it and cutting it, because it wound up being so compact and not really, I don't know, I overdid it. So then I tried it again. I didn't want to get discouraged, although I do. I told you I want to try something, I want it to come out, and I want to be done with it. I'm learning so much about my personality. It's crazy. But patience, Cali, patience. This is a lesson we must be learning here, right? So I tried again, and while I don't love the results, they're all right. It's all right. I took, I love my galaxy stones and those clear glass stones that I get from the Dollar Tree, right? So I took a clear glass stone from the Dollar Tree, and I made my Makume Gane, and I cut some slices and put it on one of these glass stones from the Dollar Tree, right? And then, look at I don't know how well you can see this, because of course I have a glare, so you probably, kinda. Can you see underneath there? Alright, it's much better in person, obviously, but you really can see the different striations and variations in the clay through the bottom of the glass. So that was kind of cool, and I'll use this stone. It wasn't cool enough for me to do more than one, mind you, but I'll use this in something else as an embellishment on a jar lid, or who knows, the possibilities are endless. I covered a marble the same way. Whoa. Again, have no idea what I'll do with it, but I'll do something with it. And then, I had my dominoes out and had been using them, and how many keychains can a girl have? I've been giving them out like candy, Hey, little boy, you want a keychain? So I took one of my dominoes I had drilled and with the screws and put the keychain in, and I put some of the Makume Gane slices on that. Again, this is a domino, right? So that kind of came out cool, and I just add a little piece charm. So that's an idea, and again, I'll make like one, and then I'm done. People ask me, oh, do you sell your stuff? And I do. If anybody's interested, I've had people ask me, and I do sell some of my things, especially things like keychains and stuff. So contact me if you're interested. But usually I'll make like the big collage pieces and things like that, or the table. I put so many hours into it, I couldn't even begin. Not that my work is priceless, although I guess we all it is in a way, right? I can't sell that, and I don't know if I necessarily want to reproduce them over and over again for it to become a chore, you know? So I have a tendency to make one and then move on. So that was that. And then, what did I make next? Last night, in between waiting for the table to dry, finishing up the journal, and I had the clay out anyway. I don't know if I showed you a couple weeks ago, I had this flower button, and I wanted to see if I could just make a mold with no special mold maker, just clay. So I have this flesh tone clay, and I pressed my flower button into the clay, pretty self-explanatory, and I baked it. And I wanted to see last night while I had the clay out, I was like, oh, let me check out and see if that mold works, because I figured I could make some flower embellishments or who knows what, or if it worked, I could make other things like moon faces or who knows, you know? So I just shoved some clay into it, black clay, which has been the flavor of the week. And sure enough, look at that. It works. I used black clay, and then I've been using my Pearl X powders. So you could also, you know, obviously I could do a different color in the middle. And it's flat on the back, obviously, because it's a mold, you know. But that worked out wonderfully, so I was pretty happy with that. Again, I made one. And then I had one other stone. Actually, see, I fibbed. I made two of these stones. Two of these Makume Gane. Makume Magane. Because I took another one. And this one, I think you can maybe see a little clearer. I can see clearly now. Love that song. I made this magical pendant, you guys. And I've been watching, again, my friend Lynn from Lynn's Crafts all week. And she does these amazing, amazing things. But so I was inspired with her curly cues. I took... So see, it's one of these, and I just flipped it around. I made I have it strung on some cording. I took a black clay, rolled it out with my roller, obviously because my pasta machine's broken. Laid it on one of my new texture sheets that I got while I was working on it. Cut it out with one of my new circular cookie cutter, clay cutter things I got. So that was a black circle. I did 2 black circles, and then on the second black circle I laid the stone and cut around it. And then I had a bunch of these, it's like a lanyard closing, these little metal things that I had gotten from Ellen in the bead box, and I laid one of those on the black circle. And then I pushed the stone down into the bottom black circle with this little metal thing. And then I took the other black circle that now has a hole in it and laid it on top. So I made a sandwich with a window that the stone can show through. And then I just texturized it with I have a little flower stamp that I showed you guys. Did a little texturizing around the edges. And then on the sides, I mushed it together and poked it with my poking tool, or you could use a knitting needle or any kind of poking tool. I used my new extruder and made a long snake, and then I just curled that around at the top, and I curled it around this top one so it laid on the metal lanyard, and I used some of my new Bacon Bond Sculpey glue to make sure that that would stay on. Use my Pearl X powders, a light lavender gray on the bottom, and then that, of course, purple metallic-y color on the top for the coils. And I baked it. Oh, I also put, you can't really see it because the powder on top, but right in the middle here, right here, is an amethyst chip. I don't know how well you can see it. It's in between the 2 swirls. So I love it. It looks like this magical pendant. It is a magical pendant. It's my new magical pendant. So I'm going to wear that right now. And I made a closure for it on the back, but I'm just going to slip it on, folks. So anyway, pretty happy with that. Let's see. Yeah, I like it about that length, right? What do you think? Okay. So, polymer clay. Oh, yeah. Okay, you guys. And then, I told you, this has been a crazy productive week. What time is it? 35. My camera might cut off. If it cuts off, I'll go into part 2. So, anyway. The next thing I made, I'll try to talk a little faster. You know what I will do? I'll cut this off after this, and then I'll do a separate journal right after for my journal share, okay? Fair enough? And I want to talk about my cleanse coming up. So I'll end it after this clay, I think. Anyway, I had a jar that I was using for, I told you when I cleaned up my junk drawer, I was using this jar for nails and things like that. It used to have a candle in it. When the candle was over, I cleaned it out. So the jar was calling to me, and I had the clay out. So I rolled out some black clay. I took one of my favorite stamps. I stamped it in the clay. I put some ball chain around the edge. Used my little poking tool again. Covered it with some Pearl-Ex. Baked it. Filled this with Epsom salt. Put a few drops of lavender oil on it. Tied a ribbon, and voila! Wouldn't that be like a perfect Mother's Day gift? I love it. This one's going in the bathroom. I might make another one. I'm just in love with it. So that's that. Should I just keep talking until my video cuts off? No, you know what? I'm going to end it for now because this is 36 minutes. But I'm going to come right back with another video about my journal and about the cleanse that I'm going to start on Sunday. So I'm going to leave you with this, and I love you guys. Blessed be. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, like it. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon, like in the next 3 minutes. Take care. Love you guys. See you in a minute. Bye.